everyone. I thought I'd do another story. Okay. This short story, I don't know how to say this last name. Rachel Habermull, I think. A miracle named Laney. I never really asked for a lot for Christmas. We were a farm family and didn't have money to spare. But that year was different. I didn't ask for a new bike, a jewelry box, or the latest doll, like most 9-year-old girls. Instead, I asked for a calf. A beautiful Jersey calf that I could love and show at the county fair. Christmas Day arrived. I anxiously awaited the moment to unwrap gifts. Dad seemed to have an extra sparkle in his eye that day, but it was hard to tell if it was excitement about the festivities, or if he was hinting that a great surprise was in store. I knew that I wouldn't find a calf under the tree, but I looked for a card addressed to me. No, just a few gifts. I was so disappointed. Soon, wrapping paper flew through the air. My cousins shouted with glee at their fabulous presents. My heart sank, and I prayed that there still might be some chance of getting a Jersey calf. The flickering flames from the fireplace sent shadows of glowing faces around the room. Aunts and uncles changed hugs and kisses. Grandma and Grandpa looked at each other, adoration in their eyes. I forced myself to appear happy, but I couldn't stop thinking about my wish. My dad caught my stare and smiled. He reminded me of a lumberjack with his thick red beard and worn hands. I couldn't help laughing at his silly expression and dancing eyes. He motioned me to come over. Stepping through ripped paper and shredded ribbons, I crossed the room and sat on his welcoming lap. We both giggled as we pulled a wad of tape from the bottom of my sock. Then he leaned forward and whispered in my ear, "Did you get everything you wanted?" "Yeah," I said hesitantly. "Our presents were great." Dad must have sensed my reluctance to answer the question and heard the disappointment in my voice. "Well then," he said matter-of-factly, "I guess you don't want what your mother and I have for you. I hear you've been waiting for one for a long time." My mind was spinning. Could it be true? Mom's sweet laugh filled the air. She looked at Dad and me and smiled as if she knew exactly what was going on. A week later, Laney came to our farm. She was the most beautiful creature I had ever seen. Her coat was a soft honey collar, and her deep brown eyes tenderly gazed at me. We fell in love immediately. I cleaned her stall every day, sometimes putting a little extra bedding under her. She loved our walks in the yard as I caressed her muzzle with sweet grain. We were a perfect pair. I couldn't wait to show her at the fair this summer. But tragedy struck. On May 23rd, a fire swept our barn in the middle of the night. My mom bundled my younger brother and me in blankets and carried us across the street. Flames were everywhere, and the pungent smoke stung my eyes. Mom put us in the car so we would be out of harm's way. She looked at us with sadness and said, "Stay here. I have to free the cows. Grandma is on her way. I love you." She dashed across the road to the burning barn and joined the others, unhooking the cows. The night wore on and the smoke kept billowing from our barn. As soon as Grandma joined us, we got out of the car. We scurried through puddles of water and ashes to reach our parents on the north side of the barn, where we kept the young heifers. The firemen were covered in soot and dripping with perspiration and water. I overheard them say that part of the roof had collapsed and the remaining animals were trapped. I searched the dark yard frantically, but Laney was nowhere to be seen. My tears flooded. My father put his hand on my back to comfort me, but I continued sobbing. Shouts rang out. "Look on the roof!" "Yeah, up there!" The firemen jumped from their post. "Hey, we need some help!" I looked to where the commotion was coming from. I squinted. Through the smoke, I saw the faint outline of something standing on the collapsed barn roof. A cow! "We've got a cow on the roof! Get some boards over here!" After what seemed like an eternity, the fireman climbed back down the ground with the poor animal and stepped away from her. It was Laney! Her hair had been burned off her entire body, and her skin was blackened and sore. Oh, that poor... My heart leaped with wild joy, and I rushed to hold her. "Don't touch her." Wrapping my arms gingerly around her neck, I thanked God for the miracle. All spring and summer, I nursed Laney back to health. I bathed her and gently brushed her with her singed hide. Her golden hair grew back coarse and patchy around the scars along her legs and back, but I still thought Laney was beautiful. I still loved her. As the county fair approached, my siblings and I began to train our cows and hold practice shows. I knew Laney wasn't a champion, but she was the only heifer I wanted to show. Each day we worked hard to improve our partnership, and we learned a lot from each other. The day of competition, I eagerly went to the fairgrounds. I greeted Laney with a dish of tasty grain and cool water. She batted her dark eyelashes softly as I cleaned her. It was time for her class. She walked through the ring, swishing her thick black tail and strutting gracefully. The judge asked what caused the scars on her body. I told him that we'd had a barn fire. It was a miracle that she came out alive, I said. The show went smoothly. Laney and I performed the best of our ability. Then the winners were announced. Laney won. Even the audience got teary-eyed as I accepted the first place trophy. That trophy means more to me than any other. It is a symbol of God's goodness. His love and compassion to me, I will never forget how he saved my Laney.